So the Super Bowl is next Sunday, and there's a lot of talk around what's really going on with regards to all of these conspiracy theories, especially as it relates to the Great Awakening and the movement going into the elections and everything else to influence society. Now, if you have been awake for a while, you know that there's much more than meets the eye, and especially with sports and how they want to sort of brainwash the masses, control the narrative, and all these different things. There's a lot to be said here, and these theories are gaining a lot of popularity. Now, right off the bat, I'm not saying that sports are bad. I believe that sports will be in heaven, that it is a godly thing. It's just that if you idolize it, if you spend too much time in it, it will distract you away from the main purpose of putting Christ first. And so I myself don't follow a lot of these things, but I figure it was interesting. It would be interesting to talk about, especially as I'm a football fan in the other sense of soccer in America, a lot of people call it. So recently, there's been, just to recap people, a conspiracy theory with regards to the colors and predicting basically who the teams are and scripting it. So this whole scripting thing is basically talking about how all of the NFL is scripted. And a lot of people believe it. Now, I'm not here to debunk or affirm it and say what I believe, but it's interesting to note the validity, or rather the persuasiveness behind some of these theories. And with regards to the colors, now the colors here from the last several Super Bowls, Super Bowl 58 is this year, as you can see from the Roman numerals, and the last couple years have been, I want to say accurately given in the sense of what the colors were. And so these colors were brought beforehand, and it showed that a couple of years running, or maybe before this, that there was in some sense validity to how people are perceiving the colors theory to be valid. Now, of course, with the AFC and NFC championships having already passed, and these colors in the purple and in the red not being the colors for the Super Bowl, right? So San Francisco and Detroit playing, and then Kansas City and Baltimore playing, Kansas City coming out prevailing, and then we had San Francisco here prevailing as well. But the issue here is that it's getting a lot of this game theory. Like people are thinking like, okay, they put the colors out here and basically they wanted to throw you off to sort of quote unquote debunk it. But really it was supposed to be Kansas City to begin with because it had Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and just all these different things, right? And so there's a lot of counter and sort of game theory, psyching you out type of theories going on. But one theory that is very interesting is the bigger picture of how they want to use the Super Bowl, and as well as going into 2024 and the elections. And so this is where I feel like it may be warranted to speak on this. And so a lot of these insiders, or they claim to be, I think there was a podcast that I was looking at of a girl who had said that I think she is an actress or a model or something like that, and quite famous right now, going viral. But at one point, she was saying in a podcast that a NFL player wanted to date her or take her out on a date. And so basically she was saying she chickened out last minute, and that this theory that's running around now is that the whole Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce relationship is fake, 100% fake. So this is the theory. And they've manufactured this such that it would die out eventually. They would break up or whatever it is. But for the sake of the influence of putting NFL and sports fans, the pundits, ESPN guys, all these guys, right? And also the Swifties, the people that are hardcore, pop culture, like Taylor Swift fans, put them together and have them all influenced in such a way from the galvanizing of the music as well as the sports, and put them through sort of the rest of this year. And recently, when Taylor Swift came out and endorsed Biden, this is where people thought, okay, this is where it's going. Prior to, I think there's an article prior to 2018, that there was no sign of Taylor Swift like having any political sort of leaning. And only recently, with the 2020 elections and also now, has she come out and fully supported and endorsed Biden. And so this is all part of a scheme to have a last-ditch Hail Mary, no pun intended, for the elections to try to sway the masses. And I'm talking about this from the point of view of the Great Awakening, which is that people are realizing that they were spoon-fed, they were sheep, led to a slaughter of what has been basically this political landscape or theater of trying to get you to vote this way or vote that way, or to think that this issue or that issue is correct and not correct, and try to make sure that you are on that side, liberal side. And all of this is being done so that it could sway you, since you are a fan of Taylor Swift or you are a fan of the Super Bowl. And because you haven't really thought deeper into the issues at hand, into how you need to research, how you need to conjure your own opinion, to come to your own conclusions, all of this is being done to try to manipulate and sway you. And it's a tactic to not allow you to think for yourself. So I'm saying this as a warning, but also that the validity of how Hollywood and these relationships, they come and go, and there's strategy behind it. Now, I'm not here to say that any one of these conspiracy theories is fact or blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to have or claim to have a word to say that this is what I saw. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is what the theory is. These are what people really, based on their research, are saying, or from their own experience in the industry, past NFL players, all these guys coming out and talking about what really is happening, right? As well as, if you think about it logically, from a strategic, tactical perspective, doesn't some of this make sense? In that, who doesn't want to take the opportunity to sway you to vote this way or that way, or to have a way to control the narrative? And so these guys are not sitting here, right? Like, kind of taking it one step at a time. Like, they're kind of stupid and like, oh, let's just hope for the luck of the draw. They're sitting there and they're planning things way ahead and saying, how can we use the people that we control, that we have a contract with, that we have this authority over, and to get them to do certain things? It's not going to hurt them that bad. A relationship coming and going, right, isn't going to damage their image. But how do we do that to our advantage? You best believe that there is some strategy going on to try to target your mind, to target the youth, the influence that these pop culture people have over society. And so don't think that this is all just some crazy conspiracy. It's a baseless, stupid thing. Don't write some of these things off. And yes, some things are ridiculous theories. Some things are true, especially when you understand that conspiracy theories become conspiracy reality after a certain amount of time. And how many times have we seen this? Time and time again, this past even 6, 7, 8 years, right? And so the same is happening now, for which I'm not laughing at it. I'm not here to write things off, but I'm also trying to understand the bigger picture and the strategy of how the elite, the people with power, they want to sway things, to control media, to control the distraction, the narrative, right? All of these false flag events, all of these scare events, whatever it is that they're doing. And it's very clear, if you look deeper into things, that some of these things they're doing with purpose and intention. So however this came up, Kansas City, if it was scripted from the beginning, they threw sort of like a distraction to say, oh, it's going to be Baltimore, but haha, it's not. It's actually, we threw the colors in there, and see, that theory is debunked. However you want to look at that, people are psyching each other out, like I said, and really what they really wanted to do, and this is again the theory, is that it would be San Francisco, Kansas City, and they're going to make this a big show, and then you see Taylor Swift come, halftime show, everyone's going to love it. And they're just doing all of these things to try to sway the people, the young people. So I'm just saying this to put it out there. I don't know what you guys think. You can let me know in the comments below. But just know that there's a bigger agenda and there's a great awakening, and it's not dying, right? Everybody's arguing. And again, I've said this before, in different industries, in entertainment, in sports, in politics, in global things, right? The economic, the business side, just all of these different realms. People are throwing up theories, looking at evidence, looking at anecdotal stuff, and just all of these sort of kind of analysis being done to come to a conclusion, because people want to find out the truth. People are inquisitive. They want to create hypotheses, test it, and see what happens later on. So again, we're in a time for which your perception of reality is what you want to think. The Bible talks about how the people in the end times, they will have their minds seared with a hot iron, and they're going to believe whatever they want to believe. Their left hand, they won't know from their right hand, the Bible says. And so part of this is being played out in all of the stuff that's happening. And we also saw Travis Kelce, I forgot about this, endorsing the Pfizer vaccine, right? So this whole commercial, this whole stuff, all of it being strategic. So what does it mean? And what other contracts, what other commercials are they going to plan in the coming year as it moves towards the elections, or quote unquote the elections? and just everything else that's happening to sway the American and the world population. So just be awake, be alert, be prayed up, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.